Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on CGTN for our special coverage of China's International Import Expo, or CIIE. I'm Hona, live from Beijing. The 7th edition of China's biggest event for global imports opens today in Shanghai. This year, both the number of participating countries and number of exhibitors have surpassed previous records. This year's CIIE runs until November the 10th. Since 2018, the CIIE has become a showcase of China's new development paradigm and platform demonstrating the country's high standard opening up. Well, the opening ceremony of the CIIE will begin shortly. Our reporter Dai Kai has the latest from Shanghai.
I'm right now at the venue of the 7th China International Import Expo's opening ceremony. The event is about to start very soon. Earlier, we've learned Chinese Premier Li Qiang will attend the opening ceremony and is expected to deliver a speech. At his invitation, heads of government from Malaysia, Uzbekistan, Slovakia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and Serbia will also attend the opening ceremony. Data shows that this year's CIIE has attracted participants from 152 countries, regions, and international organizations. 297 exhibitors from Fortune Global 500 companies and industry leaders are set to attend, marking a historic high. According to China's Foreign Ministry in a previous press conference, this high level of international participation reflects the appeal of China's mega-sized market, speak volumes about the strong confidence of the international community in China's economic outlook. The CIIE will also host the Hongqiao International Economic Forum, featuring the World Openness Report 2024 release, as well as over a dozen sub-forums in the following days. So what are some of the highlights for this year? In terms of the exhibition, for example, the intelligent industry and information technology area will, for the first time, include a dedicated new materials special section. The automobile area will highlight emerging sectors like autonomous driving, low-altitude economy, and new energy storage for vehicles. The CIIE this year has provided support for 37 least developed countries to participate in both the national and business exhibitions, and it expands exhibition space for African products in the food and agricultural products venue. All that in an effort to help developing countries taking part in an exclusive and universally beneficial economic globalization. After years of development, the CIIE has become a symbol of China's new development pattern, a platform for high-level opening up, and an international public good shared by the world. This year's event will again open up the door of China's massive market and opportunities to the international community. Back in CGTN, Shanghai.
The China International Import Expo provides a platform for importers to introduce new products to a global audience. What has the CIIE achieved in the past 6 years, and what can we expect for this year's edition?
CIIE, alongside the Canton Fair, the China International Fair for Trade and Services, the Hainan Expo and the Supply Chain Expo, is one of China's 5 major expos. As the world's first national-level import-themed professional trade fair, CIIE has showcased around 2,500 new products over the past 6 years. These items span food, agricultural goods, automobiles, intelligent industry, information technology, medical equipment, and healthcare products. Over $420 billion worth of intended transactions have been inked in the past 6 exhibitions. This year, the CIIE continues to broaden its international reach, welcoming 152 countries, regions, and international organizations to the event. 297 of the world's top 500 companies and leading enterprises have also sent representatives. France, Malaysia, Nicaragua, Saudi Arabia, Tanzania, and Uzbekistan are the guests of honor at this year's gathering. China's latest trade products, especially achievements in high-level opening up and high-quality development, will also be showcased this year.
Well, exhibitors at the CIIE say they have high expectations for the event, as well as for the Chinese market and continued economic opening up.
Novartis has attended all the CIIE in the past 7 years. We really witnessed the medicine from the exhibition finally to public. In 2021 CIIE, we get a cooperation agreement with Hainan Boao, and then we pilot other study before we get approval. And then last year, we get a fast approval by AMPA, and now it's already benefited more than 10,000 patients in China. We really want to bring the fast approach product and the innovative product to China as soon as possible to benefit as many patients as possible.
A lot of trade will happen. within this ecosystem of healthcare, but also memorandum of understanding. You know that Pfizer, we have a series of MOU we're going to sign. And recently, from the third plenum, we saw that the policies on high quality development for innovation on the biopharmaceutical sector is one of them, but also policies to ease the foreign investment. So this environment is extremely positive and extremely encouraging for the multinational, and that's why Pfizer, but I'm sure other multinational are extremely confident.
For more analysis, we're joined in the studio by Professor Li Qiang, Dean of the Center for International Business and Ethics at the University of International Business and Economics. Welcome to our program, Professor Liu, as always. So this time, more than 400 new products and technologies and service sectors have been participating in this year's CIIE. So what are your expectations on this year's event?
Well, since 2018, China initiated such a sort of unique theme of Import Expo, and that is there to show to the world that China continued to open its door, and China is ready to balance the global trade, from which we really enjoy a huge surplus. And for this year, we see that there are far more participants into it, and there are also very much of the special vendors that are being placed, like the China-Africa Corporation. And particularly, it is really the artificial intelligence that's there to dominate the entire innovation theme in this expo. And now there are also a lot of pent-up demand that drives the global importers into China, and this is there to not only to line up with sort of the import items, but rather a big opportunity for people around the world to gather together and to experience the robust Shanghai and also the entire China, and now to also experience the Chinese further open door policy, in which it's there to further penetrate into the Chinese market through joint ventures, through wholly owned operations, and then this is really going to be a win-win situation among the multi stakeholders.
Well, as you mentioned, Professor Liu, this time around, the expo attracted more than 150 countries and regions to be participating. And in terms of scale and participation, what do you view the role of CIIE in playing an important role in China's opening up drive?
Well, first, it is a big gathering because after all, despite all the telecommunications, etc., people-to-people handshake and meet, discussion, bargaining is unsubstitutable. And now this is really a big gathering of those business stakeholders. And then it also shows to China that there are further developments. This is going to give further inspiration to many of the Chinese entrepreneurs and even scientists, as what is there to further innovate and continue to improve the quality and jumpstart many of those research programs into commercialization. And then China is there resolved to further reduce actually the trade imbalance, and therefore we are exercising a number of procedures. It's not only the expo per se, but also in trade facilitation to import more. And also the Chinese consumers are going to be the biggest beneficiary because a lot of cutting edge technology and a lot of consumer friendly products are being made available to China.
So explain to our viewers, Professor Liu, what kind of platform CIIE is and how it has evolved during the past 6 years.
Well, actually, the traditional highlight for the Chinese import and export exhibition is the Canton Trade Fair. But in addition to it, there are a number of trade fairs and expos that are there to line up to further open the Chinese door. So Shanghai, the CIIE, is a very typical example, but also very much themed with focus on the imports, which is very unique in the whole world. This also shows that China is ready to work with the rest of the world and to bring up more of the collaboration with China through the importation with the attraction of the Chinese enlarging the consumer markets. And also China has been reducing on large scale the import tariffs and facilitating the custom procedures, quality, and the quarantine services, etc. So this is going to help first to benefit many of those countries, particularly on the Belt and Road, to work more closely with China for cost reduction. And also it's also there to support those smaller and the micro businesses to engage in more collaborative work. And now I think another feature is that it's a combination between the offline type of brick mortar expansion together with the online expansion that is there to line up on a successful basis to work with the rest of the world.
Definitely, it's going to be a great platform for exhibitors from both international companies and Chinese companies to have more exchanges. Not only the Chinese participants will be benefiting from the expo, but also more international organizations and participants will also be benefited from the event. And in your view, China has witnessed a substantial increase in people's income over the past decade. So how do you view the spillover effect of Chinese modernization? And when it comes to tackling global challenges like the climate change or poverty reduction?
Well, it's not only a change, but rather a big transition in Chinese import and export business. Previously, I was engaged in dealing with the international trade, representing global companies. I saw two big transitions. One was that China encouraged ferociously its export in order to earn foreign exchange, to buy foreign technologies, equipments, to boost particularly the Chinese manufacturing industry. And also we export a lot of raw materials in exchange for foreign currencies. But now the big shift turned out to be that we are really benefiting the Chinese consumers by boosting our imports. And given that we have a huge accumulation of foreign exchange, and which is really outstanding many other developing countries. The other is that we are shifting more into the high-tech and also value-added industries, so where more of the resource-intensive and the labor-intensive products and production lines are being reallocated to some of the lower-income countries. So this is really there to make a readiness for our takeoff in our high-quality development with a new productive force. So this is really very encouraging, inspiring, and this is also there to showcase to many other developing countries that how China, in a matter of less than half a century, we really had such a big turnaround, and through the reform and open door policy and continuous hard work of the Chinese people.
I think one message is quite clear: is China is becoming more and more open, both to foreign investors and in the economic front. So, personally, what is your expectations towards this year's CIIE? What particular fields are you interested in?
Well, I'm still very much as a consumer interested in how AI can benefit. We bought the robot cleaning machine at home, which is very handy and make my wife feel happier. And also as the economist, I could see that this is going to be able to first boost the Chinese GDP growth, because we also have a very clear target as how we can achieve more than 5% of the growth rate by the end of this year. And then we are also ready to go for the next round of 5-year plan, and how the imports can really help China to successfully to have the convergence into a new phase of the Chinese economic development. And then, as you mentioned, that climate change, because right now we see that in Beijing there are far fewer smog days, and this really there to thank to the international collaboration by introducing more of the technologies to deal with the climate change and also to deal with more of the scientific approach with energy, with the Chinese agriculture, and also with the urban planning. So that's something that can really benefit through all the globalization, despite of the fact that many other countries are retreating into unilateralism and protectionism.
Well, definitely, as you mentioned, artificial intelligence and technology innovation would definitely be the key focus of this year's CIIE. But for me, like milk, coffee, and daily necessities, that will probably be the most important ones. All right, we go live to the very latest to the CIIE opening ceremony. Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a congratulatory letter to the expo.
Heads of international organizations and friends from afar. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good morning. Welcome to attend the opening ceremony of the 7th China International Import Expo and Hongqiao International Economic Forum. With President Xi Jinping's personal attention, guidance, and facilitation, the CIIE has traversed 6 years of extraordinary journey and actively played out our 4 main functions as a platform of international procurement, investment promotion, cultural exchanges, and openness and cooperation. It became a window of China building a new development paradigm, a platform to promote high standard opening up, and a international public good enjoyed by the world and welcomed by the international community. We have carried forward the theme of new era and shared future, the aim of which is to expand mutual opening up across countries and regions and to inject new opportunities and momentums for mutually beneficial cooperation. Today, we are honored to have the presence of the Premier Li Qiang of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, and he will also deliver a speech. We also have guests from around the world who also address us. Our guest of honor, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim of Prime Minister, and Prime Minister Abraham Aripov of Uzbekistan, and Prime Minister Bektenov of Kazakhstan, and Prime Minister Oren Erbadan of Mongolia, and Prime Minister Milos Vucevic of Serbia. In addition to that, Director General of WTO and Orkanjo Iwela and Secretary General of the UN Conference Trade Development Rebecca Grispan will also join us online. We have 80 plus ministerial level guests from over 40 countries and regions and international organizations, and as well as ambassadors from countries, leaders or representatives from international organizations, and lead officials and multinational and think tanks and business association representatives attending today's ceremony. This year's CIIE, we have participants from 122 countries and regions, and we have 73 countries and 4 international organizations participating in the countries' exhibitions, as well as 3,500 exhibitors, companies attending the business exhibition. On the sideline of the CIIE, we will also announce hold an announce ceremony of the World Openness Report 2024, and altogether 19 division or sub-forums and 110 supporting activities. Now, I'll have the honor to invite His Excellency Premier Li Qiang, the State Council of the People's Republic of China, to deliver a state keynote speech.
This Commerce Minister Wang Wentao presiding over the opening ceremony of CIIE, and where shortly we'll hear Premier Li Qiang addressing the opening ceremony of the expo. Let's get back to our studio guest, Professor Liu Baocheng here. Professor Liu, we've got a brief message from Commerce Minister Wang Wentao, and there are so many focuses of this year's CIIE Expo, as you've mentioned. Artificial intelligence, technology, innovation definitely be a key priority. And explain to us why CIIE is so important in the international stage, not only to China, but also in the international arena.
Well, the backdrop is very clear. China is one of the largest economy, and we also have a rising buying power, particularly represented by the Chinese expanding middle class. And also China is engaging in its rapid urbanization and also the high-level industrialization process. And plus, the Chinese demographic structure is also changing, which produces new demands, particularly for the elder generation, and also when China brings up more of the educational process, some of the younger generations are really converging their buying habits and consumption pattern with the rest of the world. And then also, that China wanted to exercise its own responsibility to provide more of the public goods to the world, and the Import Expo is really something that's a specific showcase, because we have enjoyed the trade surplus with more than 120 countries around the world, and really we do really wanted to strike a balance. And the other issue is that China is going for its high quality development, and we focus on digital and also green transition, and in which it presents big opportunities for those innovative labs and also innovative companies to work with China on those the artificial intelligence, big data, and also information sharing. And then, China is also changing its economic structure, where service industry becomes more and more on the agenda. So more of the savvy technologies that can give people more of the convenience, more of the comfort. That's there to help. From the family robots to the robots working in the factories, etc. So when China is also liberating more its a market. For example, we totally eliminated any restriction with regard to the foreign investment in the manufacturing sector, and more of those, the high-end service, including financial services, also open to the world. So no smart company are ready to miss such sort of opportunity to work with China.
Exactly. Apart from striking deals between companies, encouragement from other sectors are also important. We'll get back to more discussions in the studio, Professor Liu. All right, Chinese Premier Li Qiang is addressing the opening ceremony of the expo. Let's listen in.
The world is undergoing profound and accelerated transformation. The backlash against globalization is picking up steam. Unilateralism and protectionism are clearly on the rise. And global peace and development is confronted with growing factors of volatility and uncertainty. Against such a backdrop, it is all the more important for us to uphold, expand, and upgrade opening up, as it is the only truly effective way to promote lasting peace, stability, development, and prosperity. First, we must build stronger consensus for openness by keeping to our commitment. Opening up has come a long way at the global level, yet many issues that should not have become problems keep emerging. In particular, various acts of dishonesty have triggered a broken windows effect, leading to increased rule-breaking practices. Only when all parties honor their commitment to opening up with real actions can we jointly foster an enabling environment for open cooperation and truly make opening up a universal consensus and conscious action. We should all observe rules underpinning the international economic and trade order and faithfully implement bilateral and multilateral trade agreements that have been signed so that all parties could be more proactive and determined in conducting open cooperation and support and complement each other's success on the journey toward common development.
That's Chinese Premier Li Qiang addressing the opening ceremony of CIIE. For more discussions, let's get back to our studio. guest, Professor Liu Baochen. Professor Liu, we've heard from the Premier. One message is quite clear, is the opening up policy will be, definitely Chinese market will have more opening up policies in the economic front. So what is your takeaway in the brief introductions?
Well, I think he mentioned a very important message of two C's. One is credibility, the other is commitment. Credibility starts from the respect to the contractual obligations that we have entered both on a corporate level and also on a national level. And then commitment means that we really stick to multilateralism and defend the global trading platform. He's talking about this against the backdrop of retreating globalization in the fact that there is unilateralism, protectionism sentiment that is still filling up, that is there to disturb the entire global trade, and particularly it's a disrupt force against the global supply chain, which is a critical moment for the world really to realize that. So the Import Expo Shanghai holds is there to represent a new badge that is there to be upheld by China to continue to defend the globalization, and China is the beneficiary. But in the meantime, the whole world will have to, live to such a commitment to really to have a shared prosperity that can only be delivered through the division of labor on a global basis and freer flow of all economic factors. So I think now this is really not really a redundant message, but rather a inspiring and refreshing message at the moment against some of the anti-globalization movements. So now, China is there, with such a sort of a case of Import Expo, it's there to give not only the talk, but also the walk to the global community to boost such sort of engagements.
Definitely, it's going to be a very inspiring message from the Premier. Apart from this role in boosting deals among companies, so how has CIIE benefited the development of other sectors? You mentioned about SMEs.
Yes, and right now we see a new change. Before, the small and medium-sized businesses, they could only operate on a local basis because they couldn't really expand their footprint. And now where's the...
Sorry to interrupt, Professor Liu. Let's get back to the opening ceremony. Let's hear more about the Premier's talks at the opening ceremony of the Expo.
Harness their comparative advantages and cultivate new growth drivers together. China will further open up its supersized market, including implementing voluntary opening up measures to share more development opportunities with other countries. We will continue to expand the opening of telecommunication, internet, education, culture, healthcare, and other sectors in an orderly fashion, carry out unilateral visa waiver program, and follow through on measures such as zero tariff treatment for 100% tariff lines to LDCs. China will continue to organize major exhibitions such as the CIIE, the Canton Fair, the China International Fair for Trade and Services, and the China International Consumer Products Expo to a high standard, and strengthen and improve retail imports via cross-border e-commerce and other channels, so as to do a better job in buying from the world and benefiting the world, and to transform China's big market into a huge opportunity for the world. China stands ready to strengthen sci-tech and industrial innovation cooperation with all sides, particularly on artificial intelligence and other frontiers of sci-tech industry, to drive more robust economic growth. Third, we must better fulfill the mission of opening up by embracing our shared future. President Xi Jinping pointed out that mankind living in the same global village are increasingly becoming a community with a shared future in which everyone's interest is closely interlinked. In the face of the current impasses of global development, no one can stay unaffected, and no one can solve these problems on their own. Only by steadfastly embracing openness and cooperation and working together in unity, can we harness the immense strength of all humanity to collectively foster global development and prosperity. This is the new connotation of openness bestowed by this era of transformation, and it is also the mission and responsibility we must undertake. China is an active proponent and practitioner of multilateralism. We resolutely safeguard the multilateral trading regime with the WTO at its core and support developing countries to better access the dividend of globalization. We have put forward 10 partnership actions for China and Africa to jointly advance modernization and further synergized high-quality Belt and Road cooperation with the development strategies of other countries in an effort to ensure that the gains of development can be shared by people from more countries and regions. China stands ready to work with all sides to enhance coordination and collaboration within international economic organizations and take the lead in exploring the possibility of implementing negotiation outcomes in areas such as the WTO's Investment Facilitation for Development Agreement and E-commerce Agreement, so as to contribute greater strength to global development and the well-being of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen,
This Chinese Premier Li Qiang addressing the opening ceremony of CIIE. For more discussions, let's get back to our studio interview with Professor Liu Baocheng. Professor Liu, we've heard the Premier saying he encourages high-quality development under the Belt and Road mechanism. So walk to us, how has the Belt and Road mechanism benefited participating countries in the past couple of decades? How has the CIIE worked under the framework of Belt and Road Initiative?
Well, I think first the definition of Belt and Road has been expanding. It used to start with the Silk Road on the Eurasia continent, and then it expanded to the maritime Silk Road along the coastal areas all the way from China to Mombasa in Africa, and now on the third stage, it becomes a panorama type of concept that is there to team up with the community of shared future for mankind. So this is more of the Chinese approach and also proposition towards a new way of globalization, and now through which over the past more than 10 years, there has been a lot of remarkable achievements. It's not only there to boost trade and investment, but also it's there to support many of those infrastructure projects along the Belt and Road countries. And Shanghai Expo is definitely there to gather people's the footprints together, but more importantly, really there to build consensus, because you may not really immediately strike a deal, but build a better understanding that is utterly important to pave the way for further collaboration. And China also supports a great deal of training program for foreign government officials, business leaders, and also young budding startups that is there in China, so that they are able to understand the Chinese intention. Because you see that Premier Li said, China continues to open the door, but on its own agenda. And of course, some of the global economists and the politicians may not be very patient with regard, of the footsteps that China has been making, but we are really making steady progress, and in which the Belt and Road countries see the opportunity that while we maintain a stable economic, landscape, we are still moving ahead with calculated steps, and this is something something that is there to more of an inspiration in terms of their own domestic reform, in terms of their own teaming up with the global community to serve their own national, social, and economic development.
Definitely one of the priorities is opening up policy. We'll get back to the discussions later. Let's get back to the opening ceremony of CIIE, where Premier Li is addressing the media.
We are very confident in both meeting this year's growth target and China's economic prospect in the years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, opening up is a fundamental state policy of China. No matter how the international situation may evolve, China will not deviate from its chosen path. Instead, we will press on with unwavering commitment to high standard opening up and deep integration with the world. China stands ready to work with all sides to jointly build an open world economy, embark on the bright path of win-win cooperation, and create a better future for humanity. Thank you all.
That's Chinese Premier Li Qiang addressing the opening ceremony of CIIE. Let's get back to our studio interview with Professor Liu Baocheng. Professor, we just heard from the Premier that opening up policy is a fundamental policy of China. So how do you think the policy means to not only to China, but also to the world?
Well, I think it really goes to the fundamental economic theory. By opening your border to collaborate with the world, you give up some of your own autonomy, but in return, you get a better share of the global business growth and also economic growth, and through which you push forward for further division of labor, as Premier Li mentioned. It is really there a big opportunity to exercise your own comparative advantage, and in which you specialize in many of those areas that you continue to enjoy a relative advantage, and then you are able to contribute to a common prosperity with those multi-stakeholders. And so this is really the basic fundamental theory, and also the fact that China made very calculated steps. For example, we started by opening our special economic zones in the southern coast, and then gradually we expanded to the entire coastal regions. We start with the border expansion with the cross-border trade of our neighborhood, and then we move forward in dealing with more of the high-quality developments through the introduction of joint ventures with global companies, all of which are there, it is really how China can really afford it and how China can really contribute.
Definitely.
So this is really a very much approach that we're there to learn a lesson of some of the big bomb approach we may not really bring the ideal results.
Definitely China would not end its footsteps of opening up to the world. Thank you so much, Professor Liu Baocheng, as always. All right, that's it for our special coverage marking the opening ceremony of CIIE. I'm Hona, live from Beijing. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you soon.